Welcome to our garden. Maples are a special group of plants which I particularly enjoy. So let's go take a look at some maple bonsai. It's a rough bark Japanese maple. I started from a cutting almost 40 years ago. And what's most interesting is this tree is the identical age. These are both about 40 years old. This one was container grown. It's in a contemporary Chinese container. It's got a very nice heavy surface root system. And the pink ribbon isn't for decoration. I'm grafting some branches so I don't cut them off by mistake. This is a full moon Japanese maple. Not the golden, but a seedling. It's got kind of good root systems. This is a Shishigashira Japanese maple. When I started it almost 40 years ago, it was this big. The trunk was this big. Let's walk around this way. Here's a trident maple, ready for trimming. So we take the new shoots, we cut back, only leaving one or two pair of leaves. And this will cause the tree to branch out. I've been feeding now for a few weeks, so next week it will be completely defoliated to increase the branching structure, twigs, and to encourage smaller foliage. From the back view, you can see the true golden full moon maple. Notice the samaras, the fruit, are bright red. It happens to be a finer specimen of the golden full moon maple. Look how bright the seeds are. A Japanese maple with an impressive root system. It was a gorgeous bonsai, but it fell off, so I cut all the branches off and I stumped it and came back again. This tree, in a very fine container, is a Daishojo Japanese maple. In spring it leaves out intense red, and I have it in a bright blue container. It recently won the John Naka Award for being trained in America. This is a very unusual Shishigashira maple, but this is a group planting. And all these plants were air layers from one plant, so they're genetically uniform. What's interesting as we go through the garden, that you're seeing the trees as they're actually growing. The trees which I'm preparing for exhibit are not here. They're being cared for specially. But you might find a few weeds, fertilizer balls, but you would never find these in one of our exhibits. I showed you the full moon maple. Here's another full moon maple. It's a seedling, so it's not a named variety. This is a Crimson Queen cut-leaf Japanese maple. The bright, intense color is very attractive. A couple of years ago, I picked up a different variety of Japanese maple called Akita Yatsubusa. And I trained it. It was kind of interesting, but the roots were lousy. So I'm air layering it. And next year I'll be able to take this black collar off and I'll have all new root systems. In 1970, when I came back from Japan, I started to introduce many different species. This is a Kashima Japanese maple. It's a dwarf variety. And I planted some in the ground to study them. If you notice, this one has an upright growth pattern, while the one behind is a kiyohime. And it grows horizontal, and this grows vertical. And I never thought I'd be sitting in the shade underneath a Kashima Japanese maple. Let me show you something else. Next year is the 3rd U.S. National Bonsai Exhibition. And this tree is a logo for it. So I'm playing with it to try to keep the deep green color. This tree, I started from a cutting. Oh, probably about 40 years ago. This tree was this big when I started. And I grew this tree to 3 feet tall. I air layered the top. This is the top of that tree. Got the whole family here. So this tree used to be growing on top of that tree. It had 3 trunks. This is another trunk. Air laid 1983. And the 3rd trunk is over here. Complete with weeds. If the weeds didn't grow, there'd be something wrong. So some of these trees are maples, and I'm kind of playing with them, a little bit of shade. I'd like to invite everybody to come see my garden on September 3rd and 4th. We're having a free open house and sale. Everything will be on sale. And for the first time, I'll be giving a demonstration along with Harvey Carapella.